And we're live, actually. 12 seconds in. Good evening.
Where's the dump, da-da-dump?
We're live.
Uh-oh.
I'm kind of like looking for it, but I don't know where it's at as of this moment. So
No,
I
it's
guess
okay. We're on.
Cue the host. Cue the host.
Never mind.
I pushed the button to start the countdown, but for some reason it didn't start. So,
oh well.
I guess that's okay. That's no problem.
Good evening.
We didn't do that normally. Let's talk shop with Russ thing and the countdown in the beginning, which we can understand that. But I will say, good evening. Let's talk shop with Russ. I know that Al's sitting over there laughing because, I pushed the button, but it didn't happen. So anyway, we're going to have a good afternoon, good evening. I thank all y'all for joining us out there in the Restream chat. We have Appalachian Heritage Woodshop. Aussie Man's out there, which is there every week. JJE, James Parker, Leo Tager. All y'all are out there in the chat, and I appreciate it. Jeff Walsma is over there on Facebook. We're broadcasting, by the way, from Facebook and YouTube and over on Twitch.
Twitch is live.
So we're broadcasting on all three networks. We have a few things to talk about. First thing, I'm not going to do the Woolly Gig Wars tonight. I've had a couple of things that happened this week that have led me not to be in the mood to do anything other than just, be at a loss, for instance. No, I had a very good friend that passed away underneath some unusual circumstances, and that's all I'll say about that. But it's really blown me away and a lot. I was with Polk County Fire Department for 30 years, and this person was very prominent and influential in a lot of people's lives. So they left us really sudden and unexplainable. And it is really right through a lot of our lives for those that knew her and were around her. So it's really blown me away pretty much throughout the rest of the week. So I have not even had a chance to think about Whirly Gig Wars or make a decision on those kind of things. I've been talking to a lot of people, and that with the fire department, in other words, with some of our friends, that we're all really blown away. It's one of those circumstances. But anyway, to go on with that, and we'll keep on with the show. We have George from George Makes This. George Does This.
George made this.
George made this.
George made this.
George made this. And he's going to be on tonight. We're going to be talking to him, and I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun. I thought it was just special about his name, George Made This. And so when you look at his YouTube channel, it's like really awesome about some of the things that he has done and is involved in making. So with that being said, let's talk about my wonderful sponsors. There are Devobal Technologies for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Great with confidence. Go to rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist. Woodworkingshop.com. Seiko, the scroll saw specialist. Seiko.com. And Miss Brenda, where can we find you?
Out from under trees.
I'm Brenda G of Brenda G's Designs. You finally find me about any place on the internet if you look up Brenda G's Designs. I've got an Etsy store. I have a Facebook page. I'm on YouTube. I do a little comedy over on YouTube, and I do a live stream on Thursday nights with a fella named Matt Haas. Some of you know him. And we do a little show called Mind Equals Blown at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday evenings, and we'd love it if you join us for some laughs and giveaways and some mind-blowing facts and whatever we happen to talk about. We don't even know what we do on there.
Paul
Corliss. Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop. Find me on YouTube and Instagram and here on Saturday nights. That's it. I'm done.
Dixon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dixon Hoffman. You can find me at Hoffman Signs and Decals, 3dprinting.com. Good to be here.
Jim
Bashir's from Driveway Workshop, and I am really happy that George is joining us here tonight. It's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning in Britain, and I actually found him trying to figure out how to store a bunch of spray paint cans. So I started watching his videos and got more and more into it, and I think it'll be a good show. Pretty interesting guy.
Chris.
Hey guys, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop. You find me on Facebook and YouTube. And I started playing with Instagram, so I know I'm late to the party, but I logged onto it. Anyways, you'll find me those places, or you'll find me in the shop plotting my palette project already. There's a rough draft already in the works. So if you think you've got the spine, you think you've got the guts to take me on, let's go. Come on, let's go. I killed Shane. He's never coming back.
Oh my God.
Donald.
Hello, I'm Donald Matthews from Donald Vlogifies Wood Shop. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I've got a website called redneckknowhow.com. And howdy.
Al Forte.
I am Al Forte, known all over the webs as Kilroy 79763. Yeah, everybody comments about the numbers, but they embed in your mind. I have a YouTube channel. If you type Kilroy 79763 in YouTube, you can find it. Instagram, I do a stream with Javi at Javi's Wood Shop on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, and it's the Nostalgia Podcast. And on at 2 p.m. Central on Sundays, I can be found on Twitch. But if you search Kilroy 79763 everywhere, Kilroy was there. Thank you. Welcome, George.
Welcome, George. Hey, I watched some of your videos. I'm very impressed. How you doing tonight, George?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So it's what, 1 o'clock in the morning your time? I think at 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Well, I've been up that late talking to my friends this late in the morning, but I understand that it's that late for you. But I appreciate you very much coming on here tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, again, thank you for having me.
Well,
quite exciting to be here, really.
I get the opportunity of asking the first question, and the first question usually is, it's repertory that I'm going to say it, but what got you involved in woodworking?
Well, it was quite late, really, I suppose. As far as, a lot of people get into it fairly early. I'm 27, and I've only really been doing it for...
Late in your life. Sorry, George.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my God. 27, he thinks he got into it late.
Well, going from a lot of people that start it as maybe teenagers, or some people have it in their blood from birth, but I'm very much it was sort of, I don't know, a few years ago, I suppose, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think I officially started as George Made This in 2017. That was when I started taking it a bit more seriously. Yeah.
We're supposed to take it seriously?
What was your?
I mean, you started taking it serious when you say that, but you didn't say that you got interested in, but you saw somebody or what happened?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of a long story, really, but I'll do the abridged version. So I suppose on the last university course that I went on, I was doing set design for film and TV. And I really liked the idea of building the sets and things like that. But the course didn't really work out. It wasn't really for me, the rest of it. So I, bought some tools, because woodworking is probably one of the most accessible hobbies. If you want to build, say, a table or even a bench, you can do it with a drill and a circular saw. There's not much you can't really achieve with those two. So, and then I suppose you pick up the thickness of, oh, if I had this tool, I could make this, or if I had this, I can make this. And then, there's things you can do, because woodworking is probably my primary focus, but I also do a bit of metal work as well. So I've always been interested in blacksmithing and welding as well. So I just sort of pick up what I can.
Well, yes, and I agree with you. I primarily, my father was a carpenter, and I started off in woodworking, and predominantly most of my stuff was done in woodworking. But later on, when I learned about metal fabrication and welding and stuff, I was very interested in that, because you have a car that breaks down or a lawnmower that breaks down, and you need to weld something on it, so that I would have to take it somewhere and have it done. So I understand what you're saying, that then it went like, holy crap, that can't be that difficult. It's just like pointing a nozzle down and pulling the trigger for a MIG or whatever, but it can't be that difficult to make it work. So,
yeah.
So my point is, your metal. So how much metal work do you do, or how much versus woodworking do you do?
It's very much sort of 90% woodworking. Steel work, a lot of it comes down to the material costs. So I started working for myself in October of 2020, so only last year. But so all my work is custom work. It's rare that I will make a piece to scale. So I recently made a mobile bar for a brewery in Norfolk, so a couple of hours from me. And I sort of pushed the idea of, we could do a steel frame and then include a bit of woodwork in it. So it's almost I don't know, luxury is the wrong word to put it, but if I can do a bit, I will do a bit of metal work, just to keep things interesting.
So is your metal work done with a stick welding or a MIG welding?
MIG welding.
MIG welding. Okay.
Yeah. So I'd love to be able to TIG, but that's a bit of an art form.
Yes.
Once you get the idea of sort of heat and your feed of your welding wire, my brain's going. When you get the hang of that with MIG, then you're away. You don't need to. It's that sizzling bacon sound, isn't it? Is what they say as a rule of thumb.
Yeah, you're exactly right. See, now in the day when I started welding, it was all stick welding. There was no MIG.
Right.
Later on, MIG became a part of welding, so to speak. So, anybody have any questions?
So how is that desk that you built? It was your first welding project, one of your videos, and you had a desk that you constructed. It looks like out of plywood and
so it's actually
tubular.
The desk that I'm sat at right now, and that was very thin steel, so I was burning through that a lot.
Oh, really?
I'd actually gone to do a welding course. We have a thing over here, City and Guilds. It's just it's sort of a standardized qualification that you can get. And I just did a level 1 in MIG welding. because I just, like I say, I'd always had an interest, and once you learn how to stick metal together, it's quite incredible, really. But yeah, it's still holding up. So it's, like I say, it's the desk that I'm sat at now.
Oh, good.
But yeah. So that's a good sign. It's lasted over a year already. So
Yeah, because sometimes you build something and then you use it for a little while and you tear it apart to make something else with, and you just look at it and say, I could have done that better. And you kind of cut it apart and use the tubing or whatever for something else.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure it will happen at some point. It will be a donor for a Frankenstein sort of project at some point.
So I found you. I was looking for. I made a whirligig, and I used a lot of spray paint for it. So I had different colors of spray paint. And I thought, man, I got to find a way to store these cans a little more efficiently than leaving them on a bench. And that's actually where I found you. You made a like a paint can holder. How many cans was that? It was pretty large, actually.
It was 3 high by, I want to say maybe 8 long. So 24 cans, is that? Yeah. But that was, again, it was a project born from the necessity of not wanting all the spray cans on a workbench or in a box. Because I like to have I like to have things accessible. If I put something away in a box or a drawer, I won't find it for years. Or I won't remember where I've left it. And so to have it up there, quick access,
Yeah, the thing with me here too is that in the winter, I can't leave things in the garage or they'll freeze, because sometimes it gets down to 20, 30, 40 degrees below zero here.
Wow.
If it's a really bad winter. And I know Dixon's like, that's nothing up here.
That ain't nothing.
You're saying that if I stored paint in your garage, it would get 30 or 40 degrees below zero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you try to spray it, it just comes out and splats. It doesn't.
I have to haul all my cans on my workbench. I haul everything in for the winter.
It
I used
ruins
to do that too. Every winter they came in.
Yeah, glue,
WD-4,
paint,
all of it.
WD-40, all that stuff's
So,
got to come
George, is that the same way you are?
We don't get really extreme winters. It's very rare. But I don't know if you know the stereotype, the English love to talk about the weather. But it's a pretty big conversation topic over here. But we never really get anything extreme. It's very rare.
Yeah.
I think the last time we had tornadoes was 1987 or something like that.
Yeah, but what is your low winter temperature? If you had a bad winter, what would the temperature be low?
Well, usually we'd never get any lower than -1 centigrade or Celsius. I'm gonna look that up if that's all right to see.
So that's
what that
in the
comes to.
20s.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, 20s, hell,
let
I'm
me
in
tell you.
Florida. That would freeze us out.
Oh, in the 20s, we could go out with shorts on.
Yeah.
We go swimming in 60.
Slippers.
Yeah.
The minute it gets below zero over here, everyone will know about it. Trust me. It'll be on the news.
Let's put it this way,
That's
George.
30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, he's talking
Right.
Celsius. Yep.
Yeah, that's sandals and socks weather, Donald. What are you talking about?
Hey, let's put it this way. In Florida, a bad winter. I mean, totally devastating bad winter would get down to maybe 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
I think once every 100 years up in the top part of Florida, they get a freeze.
Yeah, don't you have
Well, I'm talking about where I'm at.
situations?
I
Yeah.
woke up one morning in 1974 and there was snow on the ground in Florida.
Wow.
Okay.
And he had to dig his way to the barn to get the horse out.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't nothing like that. But my point is, we don't get that kind of cold weather down here.
You can tell when it's frozen in Florida because your oranges cost $30 each.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to put heaters in the orange groves.
So when you're talking about this weather that's down to that, and I know the conversion of centigrade to Fahrenheit I mean, like in Florida, we would shut down and die if it got that cold.
Wow.
You know what's really odd
That's-
about like UK and France, Germany, is they're on the same latitude as like Iceland and
Oh, I know.
Greenland
Yeah.
and Nordic. Yeah, and they have a really mild comparative to us. They have a really mild temperature
It's the
swings.
Gulf
and stuff.
Stream. Got to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all very like middle of the road. Never anything too exciting. If we get snow for a week, that's incredible. Especially
That's for the whole year.
Whoa!
Oh, no.
You're
No,
saying
no,
it's
we-
incredible. So if you get snow for a week, that's like really great because you don't get snow all the time.
yeah, we don't get snow very often. Well, we'll get it, but it'll be more like sleet where it won't settle.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The
But if
temperature
it-
is not enough to make it to the snow part. I get what you're
Yes, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So snow for a week, especially when you were at school and the schools would shut because it was snowing. Like that was a good week, you know.
Well, I mean, you're doing woodworking, so what kind of wood is available to you, and are you able to go out? Like, do you have places where you can just go out and buy it and bring it in, or you have to harvest it, or what kind of when you're talking about woodworking, what part is that involved in you and what you can do?
Well, it's a lot of things like oak, tulip, which is poplar for you guys, I think. A lot of those sorts of woods. Yeah, poplar, yeah. I don't know if you get the same with poplar over there, but we get a really wide variation in the colours. So it can go from really pale to green.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
We
amazing.
get green in ours. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But a lot of that is sold at. That's one of the two things. Well, not counting construction lumber, but that's one of the two big things that we get finished at our home centers, like a big box type store. It will either get oak or we'll get poplar.
Okay.
And then if it's like molding or something, we can get pine that's already pre-done and stuff.
Yeah. So we get
Do
a lot
you
of
guys
pine.
have those big box stores also?
We do, yeah. They tend to be really expensive, especially at the moment. As same over there, I suppose, with the price
But
rises.
what are your big box stores' names?
Right, so we have B&Q, which is really the major one, I suppose, and then we've got one called Wix, but I go to B&Q a lot. Yeah, Wix. Homebase is another one. Do you know Bunnings Warehouse? Have you heard of Bunnings Warehouse?
No.
No, we don't have that here.
Oh, they're an Australian company, but they own this company, Homebase, over here. So that everyone
sounds like Home Depot. But
probably not far off. They have orange in their logo.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
So pretty much the same company. Yeah.
If you were to buy hardwood or something to make, whatever, where do you go for that kind of thing in UK?
So you can get oak from the big box stores, but again, it's very expensive. But it really depends on where you are, because. So, for example, about 15 minutes down the road from me, there's a tree surgeon who cuts down and mills all his own lumber or timber. And he always has really interesting stuff. So I've bought cherry from him before, which isn't a wood you see very commonly around here, sort of thing. And that's where I got a lot of my oak, ash. Yeah.
We don't have many ash trees here anymore because of the insects.
Yeah, there was a big thing, wasn't there?
Do you have that there?
I don't know, really. I don't think we've had it.
It's an emerald ash borer. And we actually had a nice ash tree in our front yard, and it got insect infected, and we had to cut it down.
Yeah, that's incredible. And does it just render the timber completely useless then? You can't...
Well, you probably could. If you can catch it soon enough, you could probably have the arborist, when they come and cut them down, you could get some logs out of it, nice to turn bowls or whatever. But
you can use the lumber.
But it goes and destroys the bark area, so that the water can't travel up the tree, and it finally kills the tree like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you can use the lumber as long you just
Yeah.
can't. You have to make sure the bark is off of it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
In fact,
And then
ash
if you like
lumber
the,
right now is reasonably cheap compared to a lot of others because there's a lot of it.
yeah.
Oh wow. Isn't it more of a sort of? I think over here we've noticed anyway that construction timber has gone up quite
Yes.
a lot more than hardwood has because a lot more
Yes.
people would need the access
Yeah.
to the construction timber for.
Yep.
Where do
Yeah,
you get your construction timber from? Though we usually get ours here or Canada are the two big suppliers of that.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Really?
I would just buy it from a supplier down the road from me.
When you
So,
were
yeah.
making that paint can stand, was that your X-Carve or was that one you used at the school?
Yeah, so that was my X-Carve, or it is my X-Carve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I bought that. Where are we now? 2021, 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm only really now starting to make money back from it because it's such a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing with CNCs. Everyone thinks you just think it and the machine does it for you, but there's a lot more that goes into it. You have to learn about tools and what woods you can carve and what tools can carve what woods.
Yeah.
Feed rates. Feed rates. Yep.
Speeds, depth of cut. There's a whole myriad of things that you have to learn about. And sometimes you learn the hard way by burning through bits, snapping bits, and
You have a relatively large X-Carve too. What kind of thought process did you go through when you made the decision to buy one that large?
So at the time, I just received a bit of inheritance because I'd lost a grandparent, and I thought, well, instead of sort of wasting the money, I would use it on something that could potentially, earn me something back. So I just bought the biggest X-Carve that I could. I'd heard a lot about X-Carve through people I'd watch on YouTube and things. And as far as machines like that go, I'm very much if I have to do a lot of setup on it, I won't use it. So because I don't want to spend more time setting a thing up than I'm going to be using it. I just lose interest. I've got quite a short attention span, I think. But yeah, so
don't we all?
Oh, it sure helped you when you made the paint can stand because that was a huge project. Even though you used the CNC, if you had to do it by hand, it would have been really big deal.
Yeah, it would have been taken me a lot longer. But it's the great thing about CNCs. It's just an extra pair of hands,
Yep. In fact, they are.
I'd never be able to. I probably could, but like I say, it would take a lot longer. I'd be able to mark out that many holes and drill them all accurately, and because then I'd start twitching if a hole was off or.
Yep.
You said it was about to make its cost back. What kind of projects were you doing with it to try to recover the cost of it?
A lot of it is sign work. So just simple house signs. Yeah, simple house signs and things like that. And I made my logo sign. But that was more obviously.
You know what? That is a man cave. I don't think you can. You can't just throw "this is not a man cave" or "it's not a man cave" out there and have all those tools in it because we'll have to take your man card away from you if you're going to do that. And just cut it up in front of you like a bad credit card.
I'll put it in the post to you.
Yeah, please do because we'll have a cut up ceremony for it.
Yeah. No, I just have a thing. I don't know about what it's like over there, but it's a bit of I don't know the way to put it. I don't know. People's sheds get called man caves, and just because they have a neon sign of whatever in it, it's a man cave all of a sudden. And I'm not a fan of that.
Okay. And a pool table and signs. Yeah.
So hence the whole "it's not a man cave" thing. It's a workshop,
I call it the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
there you are. Yeah,
that's
super Donald. So when you make the signs, are they for like address signs for houses, or what kind do you get into?
Yeah, a lot of house signs, so just house numbers or names, carved into a nice bit of oak a lot of the time, just because oak's a really durable wood. And then I spray paint the letters and run it through the planer just to take that top coat off, and it leaves the letters showing. neatly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have-
That's
have you
sort
done
of the major
anything?
thing.
Have you done anything with mailboxes? Just asking for a friend.
Can you make Brenda a mailbox? Yeah.
I could do. See, we don't have mailboxes over here. We have just letterboxes. So all your post comes through your front door.
Yeah, slits.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
slots. Yeah, we
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But the mailboxes are such a cool thing. And they're so nice and just neat,
Until somebody comes and cuts it down.
Yeah, that's it.
But then you wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Most of the cities here, and when we're talking about cities, we're talking like downtown, so to speak. Don't use mailboxes; they use the slots.
Right.
It's the rural communities that use the mailboxes, and where we're at.
Can we talk about
somebody-
tools a little bit with you?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that you had some Festool stuff. Is that like the big tool in Europe, or is that just because I've got the money I can afford? Because over here they're really expensive.
Oh,
I mean, they're great tools. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's
They're probably
wanting
the
to
best,
portray
but-
himself as a pauper, and you're asking him about Festool.
No. So that's
Come
the
on.
only Festool that I own. Is the
Okay.
Tractor. And that was, I'd worked at not really a big box store. It's more of the sort of place you go in with a catalogue and you say the numbers and then, they bring you the stuff. I used to work at a DIY store like that. And I was leaving there. So I thought, right, because I got a good discount on tools and things,
Oh,
I
okay.
thought as one last hurrah sort of thing, I'll buy myself a nice tool. But Festool, I suppose, are probably one of the highest end that are readily available to consumers. So you could go down to a big box store and buy a Festool from there. Whereas brands like Mafel and Metabo, I don't know if they're over there as well, but you have to go to specialist suppliers or, specialist tool companies will sell those.
All right. That's what I want to ask. Okay. So the tools that are available to you, in other words, Festool's at the top of the list. So you obviously don't have DeWalt or Porta-Cable and stuff like that over there. So what would be a Festool obviously is up the high rank, right?
Yeah, quite high up. Yeah, I'd say.
All right. So what would be some of your lower brands that you would have from companies over there where you are? Because here our lower brand would be like a Harbor Freight.
Oh, okay. So Harbor Freight fascinates me because we don't really get stuff like that. But so we still have DeWalt. DeWalt's quite big over here, actually. A lot of people use DeWalt tools. 'Cause, again, they're so easy to go into a shop and buy. But I use Makita for all my other tools, all my cordless tools, my drill, driver, and stuff. But I did start start working with Dremel, who are part of Bosch. So I've just recently got a Bosch drill and driver.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, we have Milwaukee, although they only sort of really started selling over here a few years ago, I think. Or, in that sort of readily available thing where you can walk into a store. Screwfix, it was called, that I used to work at. And you could go in there and order. You can now order Milwaukee. Yeah. But I suppose lower, more budget brands, you have sort of ones that different shops sell, like not DIY stores, but other stores will sell sort of weird brands you've never heard of, very cheap. And then you still have Black & Decker. Do you have Black & Decker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're not real big.
I want to tell you, Black & Decker has a bad reputation, but in the day when I grew up, Black & Decker was a strong, nice tool. People bought it. It worked great. And so I understand all the stigma about Black & Decker, but let me tell you, back in the day, it was a great tool.
My first drill was a Black & Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a
I
great
got
drill.
an old,
But it's nice to see that you had different choices
Black &
over
Decker.
there of tools, so to speak, because I mean, we have a lot of the different tools come up in Harbor Freight, for instance. So when I've heard about Harbor Freight. When you made that comment, I was like, oh my God, they've heard about it all the way over there. But but no, one of the tools that I'm surprised with, and it's not a Toshi and all the others and DeWalt or whatever, that I have really, really become to respect and love is Milwaukee.
Right.
I bought a few things from Milwaukee, and for instance, a battery lithium-ion battery orbital random sander. And I was hesitant to buy it, but my son gave me a $50 Home Depot card, and I went like, hey, I want to buy this Milwaukee battery sander and see how it works, right? And I was impressed. I was totally impressed by the quality. It's variable speed, all this other kind of stuff. So when you get these tools over there, and I know we have different tools from different places coming into our countries, but when you get this same type of tool like Milwaukee, do you see a big difference between the Milwaukee brand, the DeWalt brand, or is it kind of like they're similar?
I mean, I have to say I've only used my Makita tools. Again, I bought these when I was working at that shop and was getting my discount. So I thought, I know that they're quite high quality.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So I'd save a bit of money on those. But I like I say, I haven't really tried. I mean, my Bosch, like I say, Dremel actually sent me a Bosch drill and driver to use for a project, and they're really nice to use. They're quite small. They're only 12 volt as opposed to my Makita stuff are 18 volt.
Right. Right.
So they're a lot smaller, lighter, and I actually find myself reaching for those if I need to drive in a screw or something else than I do my Makita. So so now that I've got those, it does make me start thinking, oh, well, what does this brand do? What are they like? But it's getting into that whole other ecosystem of batteries.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you've got chargers plugged in everywhere, and you're tripping over cables. And
yeah, you got 5 tools, and all 5 tools have different chargers and different batteries.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question to you, George. Is do you get caught up in that battery world where I'm only like me? It's rigid. Everything I buy, if I'm going to buy something in the future, it's probably going to be a rigid because I've got the 18-volt charger and I've got 3 18-volt batteries, and that's going to be it. I mean, they're great tools and everything, and they have lifetime warranties, and even on the battery. And but do you get caught up in that too? It's like, well, I've got a battery for XYZ tool, so I might as well buy the new tool without the battery because they don't come with batteries anymore.
No,
and then just go that route.
Yeah, I'm very much. I probably will buy a Makita unless all my Makita tools died, and I had an opportunity to think, okay, well, what's this brand like? Then I probably, I might give it a think. But when you've already got all that set up, so I've got the quick charger where you can put 2 batteries on, and in 45 minutes your battery's full.
Nice, yeah.
And there's no, it's just so handy. So once you've got all that equipment set up, I doubt there'd be a time, that I'd think, oh, maybe I'll buy, and start another ecosystem.
Yeah, but that's the same thing that we have over here. I mean, I know you have sometimes limited what you can get, but that's the same thing. You kind of like have to make a decision of what tool you like, whether it be Makita, Milwaukee, Ryobi, or whatever. You have to make a decision at some point what tool you like, what you feel works best for you.
Yep.
And when you get that decision, start buying that product, because it becomes with the same chargers, the same battery, the same change of tools, the same everything. And it doesn't matter if where you're at or I'm at, that's kind of the alignment you have to start going. You don't want to have a tool that say, I'll pull this out and I'll walk over there and get this particular battery and have a line of chargers that's like 30 foot long that I have to choose. Well, where the hell is that battery at this point? You know what I'm saying? You have to make a decision of what the product is that you have and what you like. And it can't be any different from you, can it?
No, it's a very difficult decision because, you know, if you don't know anything about woodworking, it's more, or about the tools, sorry, it's more, which color do I like?
Yeah, it is.
That's the only thing you've got to go on, you know?
Yep.
But
Exactly.
a big pull for me at the time was that Makita only made Makita. They weren't made by another brand or anything like that. I don't know why, but that was, you know, a big pull for me. It was.
Happy seats.
Well, you make a good point, though. There's like, I think after talking to Izzy for a while and being on things with Izzy, but there's like 3 companies that make everybody's tools in Asia, you know?
Yeah.
But if Makita is one of the places that specifically does their engineering work and their assembly work and manufacturing work in one location, I mean, that's a big kudos to them because that really, if they see a problem, they can get to it right away and not have to go through a lot of rigmarole to kind of get their, you know, changes made.
That's it. I mean, it might be something that, you know, it might not be exactly true. So I don't want to claim that that's, you know, Makita do make Makita. Just this was what I was learning at the time when we were having our training and things. They showed us a spider chart of who makes what. So you've got Stanley, who make DeWalt and several other brands and things like that.
Actually, Black & Decker makes DeWalt.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yeah. So then maybe Black & Decker do Stanley as well.
It's actually, if you're in the United States, it's Black & Decker and Stanley.
Right.
They are the 2 major companies that really produce all of the other tools, including DeWalt and Rigid, and it just goes on and on and on. But actually, one of the 2, Black & Decker or Stanley, bought out. Stanley bought out Black & Decker. Black & Decker bought out Stanley.
Yeah, it's called Stanley Black & Decker.
Yeah, and now it's Stanley Black, but they own 80% of the tools that's all made and brought into America.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Regardless, I don't care if it's DeWalt, I don't care if it's Rigid, I don't care if it's
whoever
the names. Yeah. It's all made by this one company when it comes imported to the United States.
But while it's manufactured by those however many companies there are, the engineering and design work are done by the different companies. You know, so you can have something that's a piece of crap that's made by this company, and then move over when they switch the line over, and now I'm making stuff for Rigid or whatever, and those products are exceptional and they never break down, and they're you know, really good products, but they're making the same thing for Harbor Freight, but it's not the designs and the engineering work of those companies.
It's not the designs and the engineering, Jim, it's the quality.
Exactly. Yeah, but you could have a high quality product come out and have a crappy quality product come out, but it's whoever designed it and whoever put the assembly, you know, procedures in place, and they made sure that the products coming in that are going to go into that drill or whatever we'll say were, you know, manufactured to strict quality you know, standards, that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, these people are just like pulling parts out of I mean, we make these things for people all the time. They're just pulling products out of a bin and assembling them. You know, they're not they're not making these parts and stuff themselves.
No,
Right.
no.
So
True.
yeah, so it's just sorry, I jumped in too
No,
quick.
that's all right. So, and I don't know if we've covered this before because I had to slip out for a few minutes. But George, what kind of places do you have there to be able to buy wood? In other words, I mean, here we can go down to Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever to buy the wood products that we need. So, what do you have available to you? Do you have specialty stores or whatever to be able to go and buy the wood that you need to create your stuff that you're making?
Yeah, so we do have the big box stores. So we've got B&Q. I mentioned a few other names earlier, but
Not sponsored.
for that's for all your pine and a little bit of oak if you're lucky. But again, you're paying sky high prices for these things. Whereas just down the road from me, about 15 minutes away, there's a tree surgeon who when he cuts down trees, he mills them all up, and you can go and buy timber from him. But that's not a very well known thing, so that almost makes it sound really shady. But it's it's completely above board.
A tree.
It don't make it sound shady. You're exactly right. You can go buy where you can buy.
Yeah.
We do shady here.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to do with Brenda's mishap? I'm just asking.
Yeah. He'll travel anywhere. This tree surgeon.
Yeah, there you go, Brenda.
We had a question out in the chat about, do you guys have Starrett tools there?
Yes. Yeah. So again, they're sort of quite specialist. They're not readily available for
like
a consumer to go
machinist
and buy.
tools and stuff.
Yeah. You'd have to know where to go to get them. You couldn't go down to like B&Q, our big box store, and pick out a Starrett tool,
same
measuring
here.
tool,
Same
or hole
here.
saw, whatever. Yeah. But there's also another
You're talking about going back to the wood or whatever. When you say these shady people, I'm using your terminology.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
But what you're saying is the local people that cut down trees and provide lumber for people that want to build things or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, let's say that you have somebody that says, I have this, I just cut this 20-foot tall tree down, and I have some 5mm by 400mm pieces of wood, but they're all fresh. So, and I'm wanting to sell them to you, and you buy them. How do you do that in your woodworking? Because you obviously can't come in there and do it, or put it in your shop and dry it out and all that stuff. So how does that work?
A lot of it is he's had stored for quite a while. So he'll mill it up and then he'll store it. He'll store it correctly, which is nice. So he'll have stickers in between. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah, great. That's what we call them there too.
It's stickers here. It's stickers there.
Right. Yeah. So anything I've bought from him has been stored for quite a while.
Okay.
A general rule of thumb, isn't it? A year for every inch.
Per inch
of thickness.
He doesn't have a kiln.
No.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Kilns. Again, kilns I think are quite, unless you're a big timber supplier. So again, probably about 40 minutes away from me, I can go to a proper timber supplier who has all sorts of lovely wood. So I bought some cedar from them before, because cedar isn't really readily available over here. So cedar, you can get American white oak, you can get all sorts, anything you think of, you can probably get from them. But then again, a lot more specialist, and you can go in and look, and they've got all these lovely slabs that have been milled, and you're talking like a 10-foot high slab of walnut that's $6.
Does it cost like $20,000 per inch?
I know. We've got a place here by in the South Chicago area called Schroeder Hardwoods, And he does the same thing. They go out and they cut the trees down and they slab them. And when I went in to visit them one day, there were like 6 architects in there looking at wood to make big conference tables and stuff like that out of. But they'll cut like 2-inch thick slabs of the trees that they cut down. And there's a guy that's a little bit south of Chicago, maybe 40 miles, that has a large kiln. And they'll run them through the kiln and take them over to the store and just store them there until the guy sells them. But beautiful wood. Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
really
Well,
nice wood.
I have a question from a good friend of mine, Leonard Davis. So is there black market wood?
I don't know.
Oh, no, sure you know.
Yeah. All I know is I go and see a guy named Alistair at his yard.
And I wink at him twice.
That's it. Yeah, sound the
And
horn.
knock on the
and
door
wink
4
twice.
times.
I
That's
know
it.
a guy
Yeah, really
that knows
does
a
not.
guy.
I actually
14 paces
love
east.
that question though from Leonard Davis. So is there black market
Black
wood?
market.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Just in black
No, but I
walnut,
understand.
Leonard.
Yeah.
And you know what? The woodworkers that in America are blessed with what we have as wood. When you look at people where you live in Australia, Aussie man, he just posted, good answer, LOL. Aussie man, Bill is a very good friend of mine. We talk almost on a daily basis. He lives in Australia. And I've made so many friends around the world. It's just incredible. And I sometimes think that we forget when we live here in America, when we have the Home Depot, the Lowe's, and everything around the corner. So my router quit working. I can go half a mile to Home Depot and buy another router.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when you, George, and you're in your situation in these other countries and you're making things and you're doing and you're buying and whatever you can do, I think we kind of like lose as an American. And I'll say this right off the bat, as an American, I think we like lose the sympathy of what sometimes y'all are going through to be able to actually do some of these things and make some of these things with what you're doing with. So when I talk to somebody like you who's over there and making things and doing things with what you have and some of the products you have, I think that brings out a whole new aspect in the show, so to speak, as to yes, you can get things, yes, you can do things in other countries and do things like you're doing.
Yeah, it's quite because I watch a lot of YouTube and a lot of YouTubers are Americans, and you're looking at the things that they're just going down to their local, whatever is it, like hardwood suppliers and tool suppliers. I think there's a much bigger emphasis on DIY and woodworking in America than there is over here.
Yes.
All of the woodworking shops. So there's a good one in this country called Yandles, and they're about a 5-hour drive from me. So a lot of it is online, and you don't get that luxury of being able to go down and look at a lot of, maybe more so with tools, I suppose. You don't get the chance to go and have a look at a nice piece of equipment because it is, sometimes halfway across the country, and which I suppose as England goes, it's not as far as halfway across America would be, but it's a long way. So it's we do get quite envious. I think. Well, I do personally get quite envious of some of the things that I see, and think it's incredible. It fascinates me really that you've got, like I say, so much more of an emphasis on woodwork and even DIY in general. Like you guys could probably go and buy everything you need to put in a shower from Home Depot or whatever.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
you know, and
different-
I'm talking about like putting in the shower tray and leveling that. It's amazing to see. And we're so very limited and reliant on tradespeople to, you know, we have to call someone in to install our showers, and I think it's really cool, you know,
Do you
that you
have
guys have that.
Do you have
And you
different
see
rules?
that's what blows my mind away, because I think that I'll admit it, my friend. American people are privileged. We are totally privileged as to what we have over here. And I don't think that sometimes when people like you make things and post them on your website or post them on your YouTube channel, what you have made and the product, what you used to make them, what you are made, we understand what you had to go through to be able to make that. And I think that's where sometimes the loss is, that we don't understand that. And that's sad because I don't know, it amazes me that sometimes people in other countries make things and do things, and then I see them, like Bill from Australia, some of the things he does with the products and the machinery that he has. But what some of the things that he makes is so outstanding that we sometimes forget that as Americans or other countries, that you don't have that capability of having all those things, but still produce all those wonderful, fantastic, beautiful products.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have different laws over there as far as what's available to you? I forget who I was talking to. They couldn't get like a dado stack because it wasn't legal there.
Yeah, their arbors on their table saws over there are shorter than ours by
Yeah,
law, and they
you can
can't
get
put
a
a dado
few.
stack on it.
Yeah, so my table saw, for example, is from a company called Axminster, who are probably one of our major suppliers for woodworking machinery over here. But the model up from my table saw, it does have a longer arbor, so you can use a dado stack on it. But I know that it's probably might be only a recent thing that we've been allowed dado stacks. But for making rebates and things, it's so much easier and probably a lot safer with a dado stack than it is a router. But then another example of something like that is saw stop.
Saw stop, yeah, we have those here. Yep.
Yeah. So Festal bought the rights to use saw stop technology in their saws, but so they only built a job site table saw with that technology instead of a full-on sort of cabinet saw. But there's no miter slots on the table. You have to use a sliding table with it, and it's such a poor misuse of the technology, I think.
Yeah, so do all of your tables have those sliding tops on them?
A lot of them do, yeah. More panel saws, we call them, or sliding panel saws, for like the name suggests, cutting down sheets of ply and things like that.
So you're saying you can't buy a saw stop over there where you're at?
You probably could get one imported, but then you're paying a lot more for the privilege, and then it's figuring out the electrics and all that sort of thing.
Right. You've got free healthcare over there. So you don't need a saw stop. You can just
but I need my fingers.
Yeah, I know.
He could buy one, but the electric. So in other words, our 220 voltages is not the same thing as over there.
Yeah, so I mean, it can be done. Do you know Laura Kampf? Have you seen any of her?
Yeah.
So she's in Germany. Yep. She's got a saw stop. So I'm sure there are ways of getting one over here. But
That's
again,
funny.
You're paying for the privilege, paying a lot for the privilege.
It's funny
Yeah.
because that's why I asked you about the Festool, because her whole shop is loaded with Festool stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know if they, if they're just giving it to her so she can have it on her videos, or if
Yeah, I
it
think
was
she
pretty
does work
much the
for them.
main tool over there.
I
Yeah,
think she
she
does
does.
work for them. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, that's a dream to have all those sustainers lined up.
Oh yeah,
in
they
the- you
had
know.
over here. They had It's been a couple, 3-4 years ago, but they had a special on their hand palm sanders,
Right.
and it was only like $100 and something for the thing, and people just bought them like crazy. So they stopped the special on it, and a lot of the people in the group that we kind of all hang out with is we like to make stuff group. A lot of the guys got those things, but we kind of looked at them like it must have been pretty good because everybody grabbed one and then they stopped the special on it. But if you look at Laura's channel, that's pretty much all she's got is Festool equipment.
Yeah, I mean the track saw that I have is a dream to use.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll cut through anything with the right blade, of course. It'll cut through anything. But it's
What's the track saw brand name that you have?
It's a Festool, right?
Yeah, so the one that I have is a Festool. Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, I thought you meant in general. Sorry.
So it's a Festool saw.
Yeah, it's a Festool saw.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a lovely saw, like I say.
Well, I know Festool is like you pay top dollar, so to speak, but is actually really good.
Yeah, it's good, and it's that whole German engineering thing.
Yeah. I work for a German company. That's why I work for a German company. That's kind of why I'm laughing at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the tool world's Beetle.
But if you have a shop where you have to put a lot of stuff out and things like that, I mean, the Festool's got that. On our side, it would be a biscuit joiner. What the heck do they call
the
it?
domino.
The domino, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're making a lot of stuff that needs to have things similar to what the domino would put out, it's worth buying a domino because that thing is like the best thing on the market, and it's going to speed up your workflow.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
why not spend $1,000, whatever it is, to get the thing?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, as far as they go, that's the only tool over here, I think, that is like that. Like you say, you're going for a biscuit jointer, which I know they're not really used for reinforcement anyway, dominoes, but they'll give you a lot more reinforcement than a thin biscuit would, or even a dowler. You can buy. I think the only dowler you can get over here, or one of the very few, is a Triton one. And as far as I've read, when I was doing a bit of research, it's not the most reliable. And really, you need that reliability, and I think you do get that with Festool.
I saw you had a Triton Sander.
Yes,
that is similar to the rigid sanders that we have over here. That has the oscillating belt sander on it. Do you like that, or does it?
Yeah, so I use the belt a lot, the belt sander side of it. But I do find it's a bit finicky sometimes to adjust sometimes it's all of a sudden the belt will shoot right up, or we'll go down really quickly into the table.
Yeah.
And you sort of end up, you have to tighten or loosen the bit on top. But
I've got the rigid sander like that. It's
you're not
nice.
the only one that has problems with the belt sander. Those are the most pain in the ass sanders I've ever met with. I mean, you put like a 220 on it, and you think you're going to take just a little bit off of a table saw or a tabletop, I would say, and about halfway through, you've took a 1/4 of an inch off the whole front.
That's it. Yeah, you've got a groove running through the whole.
Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, belt sanders are great in certain situations, and they can produce some fine work. But you have to understand what those beasts can actually do, because with a 220 belt, they'll take off 1/8 of an inch that quick.
Yeah.
Especially if you do like me. The one my father had was an old school construction grade belt sander,
Oh
and it
gosh.
took me across the board.
Yeah.
You see videos, don't you, of people racing them on job sites
I
and things.
have to
Yeah.
admit, I have the belt sander I have is 3" by 21, I think it is. The belt is, but it's a rigid. And what I love about that is when you squeeze the trigger, you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling till it starts, because it's variable speed, in other words. So you keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and then once it starts really slow, and the more you pull, the more aggressive or the more speed it gets. Now, I've had it for like I don't know, 10 years, and but that was the most important thing for me, because most of the belt sanders that I use, as soon as you pull the trigger, it was like, whoa, hang on, let's go. So the rigid really impressed me, the fact that it had a variable speed. The more you pulled on the trigger, it kind of gradually build up to what you wanted to go with.
Yeah, that's quite good. I only bought a cheap belt sander just to. I was working on some scaffold boards, and that's just an on and off trigger as such, with a little dial that you can adjust the speed on. But
yeah,
no, that's a really nice feature actually.
It was that, and I bought that like 10 years ago, and that's been one of my best belt sanders I've ever owned. And I actually have a specific place that I put it and keep it in a specific bag to keep it like nobody messes with this belt sander except me, so to speak. That's the first belt sander I ever had with that feature, in other words.
Okay, George, I've got to call you out on something. You made a video called "Making a Rather Unnecessary Cabinet," and it was a great video. I mean, I really loved watching it. But did it not stop that tool from rolling around on your bench, which would make it a necessary cabinet? So I would encourage everybody that's watching the stream tonight to go and watch that video, because he made just like a box that's probably, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches by about a foot, but it's pretty neat because it has the hinge part and the latch and everything on it. So but I'm disappointed, because I think you were trying to make a sensationalized title for your video and to suck people in for views, and you don't seem to be that kind of person.
Oh no. So that was the whole unnecessary side of it is that it's for a screwdriver. Who builds a cabinet?
I get it, but
for a screwdriver, But I see your point. Actually, I should probably change that.
No, I think it's
a necessary cabinet.
You just have some really good videos on your channel. So
thank you.
Like I said, I would encourage everybody to go and watch them. Subscribe to your channel.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind. Yeah, I do enjoy making the videos, but I just don't. More so recently, I just don't get the time to edit them. Because
I hate to make videos.
Yeah. This is the sort of thing where nowadays I'll sleep quite well, but there was quite a while where I would just be awake, and you sort of sit up until, I don't know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, well, I'm not just going to sit here, so I might as well edit a video or
Yep.
The part that's hard for me is actually filming it, because you're trying to work around the camera to get that angle, and it just
there's a knack to it.
Yeah, it becomes a challenge. It really does. It becomes a challenge, and you as a woodworker and a camera person, because that's what you are, You're trying to film your own videos.
And
So
producer.
you, as a camera person and a woodworker, you're trying to get the best angle and the best everything on it. But you do what you do.
It gets really difficult, especially when you're like in a good flow with something, and you just want to get on to the next part, but you think, oh no, I've got to set the camera up, I've got to move that and make sure I'm getting it in shot. There's been so many times where I've just left the camera on like a really wide shot because I need to get the next bit done while I'm on a roll with it.
I was listening to a podcast that Jimmy DeResta is on one time, and he said he always gets in late and out fast.
Yes, yeah.
So he'll start to do a process, and then he starts to video it, because he's already started, and he just does whatever he does, and then he pulls out before he's done, then goes to the next thing and does the same type of thing with it. So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's exactly that same way. I mean, I've spent hours. I know I wanted to do a table saw thing, and I spent like 45 minutes trying to get this one shot that I wanted so bad to get it in there. And then after it was all said and done, and I did it, I went like, that just takes so much time. And we are not TV productionists, so to speak. We're not those trying to get that finite right look or whatever. And that's when I kind of like changed my thought of preview for making YouTube videos. It's more like, just do the DIY thing. Just shoot what you want to shoot what you need to get done, and show what you're wanting to do, and call it quits.
Yeah, that's the great thing about YouTube. You can film what you want and include what you want. It doesn't matter if it's slightly out of focus or, I think that's part of the nature of it. It makes it quite, it shows that it's a homemade thing. It's not a professional production where you've got a crew of, 20 people that are dealing with just the camera. That's part of the charm.
As long as you
And I
remember to press
totally
the record
agree
button.
with you.
The
I've done
record
that
button
before.
is, especially when you think you've pressed it, but it was already recording and you
get
just
done
stopped the
doing
recording.
I could kick myself in the ass for how many times that I thought I hit the record button, and I spent 30 minutes saying the same damn thing. Hey, I'm Russ, and welcome to my shop. And I didn't think that was right. So I said, hey, I'm Russ, welcome to my shop. And I said, hey, I'm Russ, welcome to my shop. And then we back and tried to replay it, and guess what? None of that crap was on there.
Yeah.
Didn't record it.
It's always the best shots. You think, you spend loads of time setting them up, and then you think, I can't wait to get that one in the video. And then you find that you haven't recorded it.
And you can never get that shot set up again.
That's
the way exactly it is.
Especially if you've already cut, say you're working on a table and you've already cut what you needed to cut. I'm not going to go and find another piece of wood that looks similar just so I can cut it. So you just a little title in the video that says scene missing, or I thought I pressed record, but I didn't,
Or like what I'm working on now with the carving, and you're done with it and didn't realize I didn't record any of that.
Photograph time.
Yeah. Well,
I made
George,
this.
if there's anything that you could say out there to, because we're all in the same, but we're all trying to go around and we want to make the best videos. We want to be that person that steps out there and gets the 1.2 million viewers, which is never going to happen. But all the gamers get those kind of things. But if there's anything that you could say out there to people who are doing the same thing that we're doing right here, what would be your thing that you would say to them to keep them going or inspire them?
Well, I don't know if I'm really the authority on it, but I'd say if
Well,
you enjoy
nobody's
doing
the
it, then-
authority. I'll approve you on that.
Oh no, I just mean, you know, I'm a very small channel, but if you enjoy doing it, then why wouldn't you? You know, I really enjoy videoing and editing the videos. I think, you know, editing's really fun for me. I like to pick music for it because I set most of my videos, all of my videos, to music. I've been there was a bit of a period of time where I was talking to the camera quite a lot, but then sometimes, especially now, with the CNC running in the background, no one's going to want to listen to the CNC and you trying to shout over it. That's it. Yeah. So I find it really fun. And if I had more time to edit videos, you know, I'd be getting on out every week. But if you enjoy it, do it. If you don't,
We have to get a shop confession too.
Yeah, workshop confession time.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to get into that next.
Let him get to bed.
It's only
All right,
4
George.
o'clock.
This is the wood shop confession. Name something or tell us about the story about something that you did, and blood and dismemberment and all these other kind of things play into that you did, that after you did it, you sit there and look at yourself, why the hell did I do that?
The bloodier, the better.
God, it's a difficult one.
The knuckleheadier, the better.
Like a bandsaw, like you had your finger on the end of the wood and shoved it right through, and you cut your whole end of your finger off. That's a good one.
Or win a box knife from Russ and get it. First thing you do, try to cut your finger off with it.
or weld with sandals and get the slag down in between both of your toes.
Oh. Yeah, don't watch any of my videos while I'm welding. Blimey. I've got a nice burn on my leg. So this bar that I made, I haven't edited the video yet, but so I'd welded the hinges on. I used barrel hinges that you can weld on.
Okay.
And one of them didn't go on quite straight, so I had to cut it off, and it fell to the floor. So when I welded on the replacement, I didn't realise, but I sat on the floor because the hinge was quite low. All of a sudden, my leg starts getting hot. And because I was in shorts, obviously.
Oops.
So
Sandals and shorts.
Had a really nice burn on my leg.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. But I'm forever in. I'm an advocate for comfort. So a lot of the year I'll be in shorts. Regardless of the weather, and sometimes I'm in the workshop in my sandals. Yep. So I like to be comfy. Who cares if you lose a toe?
Well, scarred for life is
uncomfortable.
Go get it.
Hold on. Is there a scar?
A scar?
Yeah. Is there a scar from that?
There's still a bit of a burn.
Huh?
Okay.
There's still a bit of the burn, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's a scar. In other words, you get a burn and it's going to be a scar.
Probably, yeah.
We count scar for life a good workshop confession.
Oh, that's all right then. I was worried about... yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. I was worried about the workshop confession thing, trying to think, oh, God, what do I say? But yeah. No, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That is, because... I'm in the same situation with you. I live here in Central Florida. So it's humid and hot as hell from about June to September, even October. It's extreme heat. So you will always catch me in we call them Crocs. You call them sandals. Yeah, so I'm always in a pair of Crocs and shorts and a short sleeve shirt. And there's been multiple times.
I said Crocs, yeah.
Yeah, Crocs. There's been multiple times that I was trying to weld something recently. I'll give you for instance. And when I sparked the weld, as soon as I sparked the weld, for some reason, one of those sparks decided to jump right in the middle of my Croc.
Yeah, they always find the way in.
And I was like, really? It's like there's 20 foot in each direction that you could have went, and it had to go right there. So
yeah,
it's
I've
like,
had it.
Sounds like a crock to me.
yeah, it's like so. But I understand what you're saying.
I've had it when I've been doing blacksmithing as well.
You try to be the most comfortable for the heat and the situation.
Yeah,
but you forget about the protection that you need in what you're doing, because that can have alternatives.
Yeah. When I've been blacksmithing before as well, and all of a sudden my foot starts getting hot, it's because a bit of scale or something has flown off, burnt through the shoe, and and all of a sudden you think, holy, take your shoe off, like hopefully your foot's not on fire.
Well, there's one thing I learned about that when I was a kid. I was walking through, my brother-in-law they were working on a trailer, and that, I don't know what you call it, that steel grate that you see on trailers. They had cut some of that off, and there's this little corner piece. As I was coming around, and I stepped on it, and it hit you so hard that you actually stand there for a minute and trying to figure out what's going on. So it gets a good chance to burn you real good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. It always does. All right, guys. We're actually we went way over tonight. We're at 25 minutes past 9. And I'm sure you George, what time is it there?
It's 25 past 2. So I've already hit Sunday.
Yeah, he is already into Sunday. So.
Thanks for coming by, George.
I am so happy you spent some time with us, because I think this has been a really good show. So,
it's
thank
been
you very much.
I agree.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been really fun. If you ever have reoccurring guests, I'll happily come back.
There you go, Russ.
There you go.
George, you have been a fantastic guest. We enjoyed. I have enjoyed talking to you. Here's the thing about this show that I have done for the last 7 or 8 years is that when you meet people from other countries and they become your friends, even though that time differential is there, it doesn't make a difference, because you always enjoy being back with them again.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate that you were here tonight. Leonard Davis has been here. Rick St. Louis. If somebody wants to look back through the chat and call out some names, please.
Aussie man.
Yeah,
Dan
Javi was here.
Yep, Javi's here.
And George,
Frenzy
Aussie Man is from Australia. He watches us every week, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Over breakfast.
Over breakfast, yeah.
That's right. Jimbo's been here too.
And he told me that the other day. We chat sometimes during the morning, right? And we'll wake up and I'll see him and he'll post something. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He says, "I'm doing great." And I said, "I'm fixing to eat breakfast." And he goes, "I'm going to bed."
The Appalachian Heritage Workshop.
Gerald Vance has been in there, and Chris Nealon, and Dan Engel has been in there.
Michelle Marcoux's been in there.
Yeah, Michelle Marcoux.
Michelle Marcoux. He is one of my favorites, Michelle Marcoux. He is always here, always faithful, always a good friend. Leonard Davis.
Frenzy Wicked Truth.
Yep.
Yeah. They always
Wicked's here. Yep.
Wicked Roy 79763.
People that come here and watch us every week. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here every week. I really do appreciate that.
Who is Restream bot?
Thank you, Brenda, Paul. What did you say?
Who is
Nothing.
Restream bot?
Yeah, if you all can go over to George's channel and subscribe to him, that would be
and
great.
ring the bell. There, I said it for you, Jim.
Okay. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I went over there a
thank
while
you.
ago and realized I wasn't subscribed to him. I thought I already was, but I am now.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anyway, thank you for being here, all you guys for being on tonight. Thank you, George. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been really
Oh,
nice.
we
to
had
talk
a
to you
great
all.
time.
Yep.
Had a great time. I am
Indeed.
so glad you came on tonight. I appreciate it so very much. Had a great time. Thank you, Dan Inge. And I want to point him out. Dan Inge from Dan Inge Woodworks is always here. Aussie Man's always here. I mean, Leonard Davis is always here. There's so many people that are out here every week. And I appreciate all y'all being here very, very, very much. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not quite sure why you come here every week, but obviously we entertain you. And I will tell you this much. I appreciate you coming back every week and watching us. It means so much to me. It keeps me saying that's why I want to keep this show going. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Paul. Trying to think
Dixon.
of everybody's name.
Dixon.
Yes, that's his name. That's his name.
Yeah, I'll just say that I appreciate all of y'all.
Jim, Chris,
Yeah, Jim,
Jim and Chris,
Vloglify over there.
Dixon,
Vloglify.
Donald and Al.
Donald, L, all y'all for being on tonight.
And I'm Kilroy.
Why did you kill Roy?
I just don't know.
But most of all, thank you, George, for being on here tonight. I appreciate it
Thank you very much.
very much.
Thank you, George.
All right.
Thank you.
Listen,
George.
if there's anything you need to do this week, it's if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Night, y'all.
Good night.
Right.
Live long
Hey,
and prosper,
everybody.
everyone.
Remember, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
What he said.
Nope, you
Yeah.
gotta bail out, get
What he
gone.
said.
See ya.